queue. So say I want this value to be stored with this queue. I can copy that and bang, there it goes. Now the reference name of this value or variable will be the top level queue. So it's not a bad thing to have variables and objects named after using always the top level queue. In fact, it's a good thing to do, mostly because it keeps things neat. But there might be times that you are forced to use the queue you are creating stuff, because say you want to have a queue repeat actions over and over, and so you cancel queue, you reset queues. So if you set this value with the name of this queue and you cancel this one, this value will remain intact because it's now attached to this queue. So it will not be removed. But if you put this or the name of this queue, you are creating it like this, or using this, it will remain within this queue. So if you cancel this queue, the value will be cancelled with it. Okay. So also it's sometimes practical to use this for values if you use them only within this queue, so or objects. If you only use or you only reference back to these values and or variables and objects within the same queue you are creating them, using this dot whatever is just fine, which is the case we are doing now. So I'll set this value here, and this value will be, I want to be an exact, and say exact 1, so or 0, well, let's say 0. So we have a value now, and this value is now set to 0. And now we can use this value or variable within our text file. Say we want to know how much the value of the value is, and that's why it's confusing. Some people sometimes confuse a value. It's in my opinion a badly chosen name. It should be set variable instead of value, because what you want is the value within this variable. So this object's exact 0, let's say 1, 0 is a stupid number. So what we want is that 1 within this reference, and that's where people confuse things, because they think that just taking this object, say like this, will return that number, which is not true, because it's not a reference. So what we have to do is we want the value of this object. So because using this value, it will retrieve the number or the how much worth whatever reference we use here. I know this is sometimes quite confusing, because for some reason the name was chosen the same for the content and the package, so to speak. So maybe set variable would have been a better choice, but now we stuck with it. So all you have to realize is when you use set value, you set this thing and not that. That's the worth or the value within the variable. So hope that was clear. Anyway, so like in objects, if you want to reference this in a different queue than this one, again you have to name it, like here. So if we say we use the here this tutorial shape, this like that, and we want to use and say we want to use in this value the amount of objects. We have to create a group. Yes, sorry, group this tutorial group, and we want to know how many shapes are within this group. Obviously, we know it's only one, but for test sake, we say we don't know. So if we use this and we want to say we go here to our group variables, see, and we go and say group object count, changing back, and we use it here. So group object count at group, which is this group. Again, we have to use it like here, not like here. If we use like here, it will not work. So we have to use it as it is in here. So queue name, and that's why referencing immediately with the queue is so much practical, because now you have to go and make sure you copy the right queue name. All this copy paste sometimes is tricky, so really must pay attention. So this group count now is correct. If we were to use this, it will just give 0 because well, error in this case, because it can't reference, it doesn't exist, because within this queue there is no tutorial group. So if there is no group, equals error or 0 or nothing. So we have to make sure the queue wherever the group is located is set. Okay, so to make this fun, we go here and create a do all and make it a random number, not exact. We set a random number. Min, say 1, and max, say 5. See, now we have to copy this thing and put that inside the do all. So as you can see, you have one do all for the action and then another do all within the do all. So it will perform first this and then all that within that one. And then if I put something here, then it will do whatever it does. So it will now create this create shift 1 to 5 times, but we don't know how many. Of course, because we now don't have, we don't know. Oh, wait, we can't name them all the same name, can we? If you want to name them like everyone individual, we have them now. With this, it will create 5 shapes with the same exact reference. So only the last one will be accessible through the name reference. Still accessible through the tutorial to the group reference, but not through the name. So what we can do here is add a counter variable counter add. We name the counter here counter, say ships, and put here ships because it's the name of the counter. And it will, so every time it creates one, say 1, the counter makes 1, and so it will add a 1 here, so we can delete this one. The next time we will create a ship, it will be 2, 3, and 4 depending on how many it did. So obviously now this condition here is much more unlikely to trigger because we now have up to 5 ships, and we don't know which one the player is approaching. So, well, it's still possible to trigger once the player goes to this specific one, and it's under 5 kilometers. It will still trigger, but you have now 5 possible targets instead of just 1. Well, you can change that and make the object distance between any of the ships. If any of the ships is good enough for you, you can choose a random number. So you go back here and go, see, it will give you the random number of any specific group. But we'll get to that in a later video, so otherwise we'll strain too much off the topic. Anyway, so this is still a valid check, given the ship does not blow up. If it blow up, we're screwed, but we'll get to that too later. Anyway, so we now have the set value, this object, which is local, and now we have a count. So this time, as we don't know how many objects are within set group because they are created randomly, we will here now find out. So because it will count the objects within set group, which is this one, and give you the number. And here in this text message, it's an incoming message, we'll get a number. If you want to add here, say group objects amount, and you will get an EM thing and with the number here, and then you know how many there are. In fact, you can afterwards you can use this as a check. Say you need to have -2 and so on. Okay, hope that was somewhat understandable. Don't think there is. If you have questions, go to the Microsoft forum, post them, ask them, and I'll catch you later. Bye.